Hi, everybody. Thanks for visiting Voyager Smith. Appreciate it. My name's Tim. We are going to do a multi-part series on our cruise on Region Seven Seas Voyager. Come with us as we talk about the ship, our ports, the food, the experience, the service, everything. So during the course of this trip, I'm going to talk about experiences and contrast them with previous cruises that we've done. And I'm going to make an attempt to drink every signature drink on board the ship and capture them, but you have to watch all the parts in order to see it. So we'll see you out there. Thanks for joining us on Voyager Smith. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you hit the notifications button, you'll be notified when I release the other 2 parts of this 3-part video. Thank you. Also, for those of you who might be concerned with mobility difficulties, please stay for the end when I do interview somebody who is in a wheelchair on board. So this is an overview of our 14-day cruise. We started from Bali, then went to Silakan Buang, which is also in Bali on the North Shore. From there we went to Sarabaya in Eastern Java, then to Semarang in Central Java, up to Singapore, then on to Ho Chi Minh City. From Ho Chi Minh City we actually went to Cam Ranh. Nha Trang was canceled due to their pier facilities not being available. Then we went to Sihanoukville, pardon my pronunciation, and then we ended in Lam Shabang in Bangkok. Welcome to the port of Benoa, Bali. It's located right in the center of Bali, not far from Denpasar Airport. This is the major cruise ship terminal for the island of Bali. So let's go ahead and head to the ship. So welcome to Seven Seas Voyager. She is one of 6 ships in Regent's line. The 7th ship has just had her keel laid. That is the Seven Seas Prestige. And Navigator, the smallest 7 Seas ship, is scheduled to go offline in 2026, I believe, towards the end. Voyager's keel was laid on March of 2001. She was completed in February of 2003, which makes her 22 years old. She can hold just under 700 guests. She has 455 crew members from 37 different countries. She has a guest-to-staff ratio of 1.44 to 1, which is quite good. She is 677 feet long, or 206 meters. Her beam is 94 feet, and which is 28 meters. And she's powered by 2 diesel-electric engines made by Dolphin for a max speed of 19.8 knots. Time to get on board. Welcome to the La Viranda breakfast and lunch buffet. This is the lunch buffet. Obviously, we just gotten aboard. We were told that our stateroom was not ready yet, so they told everybody whose stateroom wasn't ready to go ahead and enjoy lunch up on La Viranda, which we did. The spread was quite good. They also tended to vary the theme each day, so one day would be Mexican, and next day would be German, etc. Next day Italian. Although they always seem to have Italian food. But overall, yeah, good, very good buffet. And the view from the 11th deck where La Viranda was magnificent. At night, La Viranda turned into the Italian specialty restaurant called Settimati, which was also quite good. And here's a view from my seat having breakfast one morning. This is a view of Bali Harbor. This is the way we're going to be heading out when we go out to get underway for north of Bali. On deck 11, you have the observation bar. This tended to be my favorite seat on board the ship. I used to go up here every day when we'd get underway or when we'd pull into port. It was a great vantage point. You could see everything. It was just, the pilot house was 1 level below, so it was a perfect view if you're a person who likes to watch the ship pull in and out. Now on to the stateroom. This is our room, 647. It was a deluxe veranda suite, which really is just a fancy way of saying it's the, most basic stateroom you can get on the ship. The bathroom was very nice. The shower, the temperature was instantaneous heat, which was fantastic. Very comfortable, good size. A little bit tighter than a regular bathroom, just because you're on a ship, and so they don't want you bouncing all over. The Voyager also comes with tubs in their room for those of you who taking a bath matters, and L'Occitane products. Please forgive my French if I'm not pronouncing it right. It also comes with a large walk-in closet with a safe. My wife and I found this had plenty of rooms. Your life jackets were in here, and plenty of hanging space and hangers. And I'm sure they would have brought you extra hangers had you asked. Moving on to the bedroom. The bed was incredibly comfortable. The bedding was phenomenal. I'm a bedding snob, and the sheets were super, super comfortable. The bed was super comfortable. Pillows were super comfortable, and they offered it all for sale because it was so comfortable. I didn't, of course, they didn't post the prices because if you have to ask, you probably can't afford it. But very comfortable bedding, nice couch, TV on the wall. TV was acceptable. A couple water bottles that you get to take with you. They're interestingly not marked with a Regent logo on them. They're just whatever the brand of the water bottle is. Thought that was a little bit of a miss. And, pretty decent sized balcony. I don't know if you can see it in this video, but there is a tear in the front of the seat cushion on both cushions. We noticed that when we first got aboard. They did change those out after the first night we were underway, so without us even asking, so no complaints there. One of the reasons why there was plenty of closet space was because Regent offers you free laundry service while you're on board. Not free dry cleaning, but here's an example of the valet laundry service bag. So that's pretty awesome. So our first night we had dinner in a specialty restaurant called Chartreuse. It's the French specialty restaurant. Feel free to pause the menu as I scan across it. It was good. It wasn't one of our favorite restaurants, but it was still tasty nonetheless. I had a mushroom truffle soup, I believe, for my opening course, and my wife had the lobster bisque. They were both excellent. One thing of note, we're going to show you some of the food. This is a tuna tartare. Um, we're going to show you some of the food, but it was a 14-day trip, so you could literally fill up 5 hours of just food. Cheese plate, very good. All in all, good restaurant. So touring around the ship a little bit more, the Constellation Theater was on deck 4. That's where all their shows were. Um, we went to a few of them. They also gave the talks when they talked about different ports, and they had their guest speakers come on board. Deck 4 is also where the casino was. I'm not a gambler, so I did not spend any time there, but the people I talked to had a really good time in there. Then there's a Voyager Lounge, which is another bar on deck 4. You go to, they have live music in the evenings. Um, I try to do most of my filming early mornings, so I didn't catch a lot of people in there. So as you can see, the Voyager bar is closed, but this is what it looks like. And there's a stage up there where they do some dancing and some music. So on day 2, we pulled into Silicon Buang, which is in the northern part of Bali. We've been to Bali the year previously and seen most of the cities we want to see. It was over an hour bus ride to get to where the town of Silicon Buang was from where we docked, and it wasn't anything we really wanted to see, so we stayed on board the ship. So I elected to have breakfast at the Compass Rose, which is the main dining room on deck 4, the first morning we pulled into Silicon Buang. I had steak and eggs. I must admit, I must have had steak and eggs for breakfast at least 4 times while I was on board. It's an indulgence, I know. My cardiologist is going to hate me. But this is what the port looked like from the observation deck. It was very pretty. Water was crystal clear. You could see fish swimming in the water next to the ship. But didn't feel like a big bus ride, and I felt like the free service and food. The next place I'll show you is the Prime 7 Steakhouse. It's on deck 5. It's another specialty restaurant. You have to make reservations there. You get guaranteed 1 seating per cruise. This is a look at the specialty cocktail menu, of which I bragged about wanting to drink one of each one, which I believe I did accomplish. They were quite good. You wouldn't want to drink them all night, though. And this is the Region Seven Seas signature cocktail. It was delicious. Now let's head over to Surabaya, Indonesia. They had a whole dancing show and music set up for us on the pier, which was pretty nice. The Indonesians were such lovely people.
Good morning. Thank you.
As you find in a lot of cruise ports, when you walk into the cruise terminal, if there's a cruise terminal, you have to walk through the gauntlet of all the local vendors hawking their wares. It was nice. They weren't too pushy. They were pretty friendly, especially if you had a camera on them. Yeah, it was fun.
Good morning.
So first stop was the Hotel Maja Pahit. It is a very famous hotel in Eastern Java. It was actually a Raffles designed hotel. So Sir Thomas Raffles, Raffles fame in Singapore, designed the hotel. It was very Frank Lloyd Wrighty, Art Deco-ish. The grounds are beautiful. The lobby area, as you can see, is outstanding. Everything about the hotel was really, really pretty and classy. The claim to fame here was that amongst its many stars, Charlie Chaplin stayed here, and he has his own suite dedicated to him in the room. I think you can reserve it for about $300 a night US. And then the presidential suite, which takes 2 stories, is about $400 a night. So that's US dollars. So not bad overall. We're now going to transition to my interview with Rob Lowe. We are now recording. So let's just start right off. Why do you want this job?
Why do I want this job?
No,
I want to be famous.
Rob, please introduce yourself. Say where you're from and what your cruising background is.
It's Rob Lowe. I'm from South Australia, Adelaide, South Australia. We've done quite a lot of cruises on most of the cruise lines. This is the first time on Regent. And we're loving it basically. The crew are really good. We've had a couple of hiccups along the way, that's all. And that's mainly through my disability, which I've only inherited about a week before I came on board. So it's been a little difficult from that point of view. When we came on board, we were fine. We got a wheelchair. They looked after us with a ship's wheelchair. The only problem we had was getting on board, coming up the gangway. I basically had to walk up myself very slowly, and with the problem I've got, a pinched nerve, it's quite painful. I was thinking they would probably use a forklift that I saw with a cage at the side of the ship, but they didn't, and that was probably the hardest bit. Once we got on board, we transferred to another wheelchair, very comfortable, really good. And the only other problem I had was me being inexperienced in a wheelchair, and my wife found it fairly difficult to push the wheelchair over carpet areas.
Yeah, I just experienced that myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously could do it, but it was a challenge.
It's a challenge for someone our age. My wife's 75 and I'm 78, and she's pretty strong for her age, but that's a bit of a challenge pushing on carpet.
So did Regent give you any kind of caution or anything based on the fact that you needed a wheelchair before you came on the cruise? Or
No, we asked for the wheelchair. Other than that, I don't think there were any questions asked. All I'd say is just getting up the gangway was
right,
the hardest bit. And for anyone that can't move at all, I don't know what they do.
right, yeah. And so I think it's important that people out there know if they do have an injury or a disability, it can be challenging.
Yeah,
to be on the
especially if
cruise
it's
ship.
a recent one,
Right.
and you don't really know what to expect. I think the other thing is with my wife pushing me down the corridors, there's lots of turns, and they can be quite hard to manage if you're not used to the chair and
Sure.
that sort of thing. But other than that, the restaurants and everything, they always found us a table that was easy to, wheelchair accessible very easily. That's the only thing, I think. Just boarding was.
Did they have to make any special accommodations in the bathroom or anything for you?
No,
Okay.
no.
And is there anything you'd recommend Regent or any other cruise lines do in the future to help? Like maybe if somebody discloses that they have, a disability or, injury or something like that, maybe they send a packet saying, these are things that you should be aware of before you board the ship. We do pull into some ports where we have to use the gangway instead of, the horizontal walk-off. Those might be challenging to get up and down.
Well, as far as we haven't done any of the tours at all, because, well, speaking to most people, they're not wheelchair accessible.
Right. The only port I can think of on this particular cruise was Singapore.
Yeah.
Because there was a straight ramp that went off, and then they had the air-conditioned breezeway that you can go through, and then they had elevators that would take you down to the ground floor. But yeah,
I'm not sure whether, there was another lady that struggled to get up the gangway when we first got on, but I think they had a forklift and a cage on the dock.
just in case.
Well, I don't know whether they intended to use it for just putting supplies on board, but that would have been handy because we could have come up on the wheelchair straight up and straight into the ship.
Okay.
But other than that, I think it's just our inexperience, the fact we're reasonable age now. It's not that easy to push a wheelchair through the corridors and things.
Ask him, there's been a lot of people that have asked us how we're finding it and would we recommend people organise a wheelchair at home, and would a electric wheelchair be better? Do they supply those? We don't have an answer for any of that.
Well, I think the camera will,
And they're always
the microphone will have picked up what you just asked. So do you want to address that, Rob?
Lots of
I don't know whether they could have an electric wheelchair. I think mainly the wheelchairs are here for people that have an accident on board or when they've gone on an excursion. Now, I appreciate the fact they had a wheelchair.
Sure.
But I just say it's not that easy, especially if your spouse or whoever's your travelling partner is not strong, then pushing on carpet is quite difficult. Vanessa's always huffing and puffing.
Now, did your doctor back at home give you a wheelchair that you have at your house?
No.
I
Okay.
got that through the travel agent.
Okay.
We ordered it
She
through
organised
the
all
tour.
of that.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but I mean because you're waiting on surgery.
No, see, at home in my work, I would just sit in the workshop, get myself out of the workshop,
Okay.
and Vanessa would do all the running and backwards and forwards. I'd just sit in a chair and do my work in a chair. So I didn't need a wheelchair, and to be honest, it's a bit like bringing a wheelchair into the room. It's not that easy because then,
Right.
they're not the size that you can easily
They've got the
manage.
little portable ones. Yeah.
Yeah, the collapsible one's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, final question: is this your first Regent cruise or not?
Yes.
What are your overall thoughts of the cruise itself?
I think apart from what I've just said about the accessibility with the wheelchair or coming on, the food's great, the staff are magnificent. I
Room
think
attendants were good.
they're all good.
Yeah.
No problems at all.
And since you've been kind of shipbound for this last 14. Did you get on in Bali?
Yes.
So you same as me. So you're doing the 14-day
14
cruise.
days.
Have you found there to be enough activities during the day to keep you guys busy? Or
Well, there is, but I'm a bit limited.
right, yeah, you're not going to go out and
Vanessa
shuffleboard.
Vanessa gets tired pushing me for a
Right.
start. So I don't want to overdo it for her sake. I'm just sitting in a wheelchair. It's fine for me.
Right.
But
Well, there's enough to keep us, going.
if I didn't have this
still.
injury, I would be playing shuffleboard, bago, all those games,
Right.
mini golf. There's plenty to do, I think,
Okay.
providing you can get around.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's always the bar.
There's always the bar. That easy access to the bar. That's never a problem.
They didn't even put any carpet in front of it for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Rob. I really
Pleasure.
appreciate the time.
Pleasure.
Vanessa, I know you're not on camera, but thank you for your time. And make sure you guys watch out for this video. And
Yeah.
in addition to like and subscribe, please don't forget to hit notifications so that way you'll know when the next 2 videos are released. Thanks and have a great day.